Good evening, ladies, gents. Welcome. We are live on the Sherpa Hub channel for a special presentation on skills. I'm joined by Philbo. My name is Ironfists, by the way. Good evening. How are we doing, Phil? You all right?
Very good. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing great, thanks. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ironfists. I am a full-time streamer. I've been playing Tarkov for about 5 years, been streaming it for coming up to 3 years now in September. Was part of the Sherpa program as well. But now I undertake the role of one of the UK emissaries. But yeah, here to run through a guide to skills within Tarkov. And Phil, if you could let the people know as well a little bit about yourself for those who don't know.
Yeah, so my name is Philbo. I'm also from the United Kingdom. I'm also part of the emissary program, and my being one of the UK emissaries for that region. Do stream myself, a bit more so on the part-time side of things now because I've got a full-time job, but do my best to still keep myself involved with all the community.
Still keeping your finger on the pulse with the role as emissary, bridging that gap between the community and the devs, as we say. So the presentation today about skills, a quick run through then what we're going to be talking about today in terms of skills within Tarkov. We're going to be running through not only skills within Tarkov, but actually talking about the role of Sherpa. What is the role of a Sherpa? The Sherpa Hub itself, what resources are available there, how to access the Sherpa Hub, an introduction to the Tarkov wiki. A lot of the information that we're going to be referring to today is available on the Tarkov wiki, and we're going to be running through some of the information available on there as well. Talking about soft skills then, we're going to be talking about the importance of skills within Tarkov, the different types of skills, whether it's physical, passive, whether it's hideout skills, how to level those skills, the importance of those skills once they are leveled, and also talking about the concept of diminishing returns as well when it comes to leveling those skills. So that's a run through of the topics that we're going to be covering today. So first of all then, we'll start off talking about what is a Sherpa, what is this role within the Tarkov community, people that are handpicked by BSG to assist new players within the Tarkov community. As I say, Tarkov is one of those games, it doesn't have a tutorial, it throws you right in there, doesn't it, Phil? So if you don't mind just running through then the role of a Sherpa then within the Tarkov community.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned before, these are handpicked players from the BSG community team, and these are players who are there to give beginners, a more friendly and more insightful approach to the brutality that Escape from Tarkov can definitely bring you. But basically, they're there to help you study, the game's main features and how to improve their skills to survive, in essence, the harsh Tarkov environment that it is, this is a difficult task, but it's also an honorable task as well, and it definitely showed us the the most patient and definitely the most experienced of Tarkov players to become a Sherpa. But basically, these are all volunteers. They've dedicated their time to you guys, the community, and more so the newer players to assist you by teaching you the ways that they've learned to develop themselves within Tarkov, and they're also giving you a friendly bit of advice and knowledge that they've learned as they've been progressing through the stages of the game. But these are selfless players. They contribute to the Tarkov community in the wider growth. But when teaching new players, they rely on their own unique preferences of the game. They'll go through different locations. Some have got specialists on certain maps. Some are more proficient in, say, woods. Some are more proficient in, say, interchange. They've all got their unique spin on what different types of weapons can be used as well, the different type of equipment that can be essential for helping new players within Escape from Tarkov. And then we've got the different types of playstyle, the different types of tactical moves, and also just to bring a unique gaming experience to these new players. But by learning from various Sherpas, new players can honestly gain such a wide range of experience, and they can almost choose their own playstyle. Now that they've learned from these different Sherpas, they can say, actually, I was really enjoying playing with this Sherpa yesterday, and he was really good with a DMR. He did some great sniper stuff and showed me some great different, positions that I can go to. They get some really advantageous spots. I also like playing with this Sherpa who, which had a different contrast, more of a run gun. Here's a shot. Wants to get involved and kind of help bring up the confidence level of the new player almost. But these are players again who are the most experienced, stress resistant. They've got the ability to not only get into a game, protect their Sherpaling to encourage the development of them, that person. 100% a tough task. They're going to be thrown at the deep end. They've got players coming for them. They've got some of the scavvy eye coming for them, potential boss. Imagine getting approached by the goons whilst trying to teach a Sherpa to search a box, dude. These are tough asks in Tarkov recently. These are people who are extremely responsive. They definitely understand the hardships of the beginner's first steps in the games, and just want to provide the best support that they really can. Our Sherpas are definitely some of the most polite members of the community, always tactful in conversations, they're restraining their expressions. And we'd like to say that these players are honest with each other as well. But we can identify our Sherpas through the distinctive badge that they've got in the in-game. It's the handshake symbol with their green symbol. They've got a special role on the Discord server, and they've also got a special role on the official forum. So you can always easily identify an official BSG Sherpa.
Yeah, and not only new players can learn from them, even experienced players. Like I've got, probably over 8,000 hours in the game now, and 5 years of experience, and we still learn every day. Whether it's a different play style, whether it's a different rotation, loot spawn. There's so many different approaches to this game. There's no single way of playing this game. There's no real right and wrong when it comes to play styles. Obviously, there's the mistakes you can make, but we can always, all of us can learn. And the Sherpas are the first and foremost that we look to learn for sure. So the Sherpa hub itself, the Discord, if there are mods available in the chat to post those links, I'm sure there's a command in the chat and a link down in the about page in the Sherpa hub as well. But it's an excellent resource for, again, new and experienced players. You can request Sherpa assistance in there by putting in a ticket, outline your experience within Tarkov, what it is you actually need help with, whether it's, you've just installed Tarkov yesterday and you're trying to figure out, what ammo goes with what gun and things like that, rather than reading a resource or watching a YouTube video. Sometimes it is more helpful to have somebody talking you through those parts there. And my own personal experience from being a Sherpa, I learned as well from watching other players early struggle as well. It helped me learn and grow as well in terms of having that Tarkov experience as well. So within the Sherpa Hub Discord as well, not only can you request the help from a Sherpa, there's a great LFG looking for group in there as well. Even if you're experienced player, just looking for players to squad up with, or even if you want to assist new players, or you're looking, you're on the road to being a Sherpa yourself, you have aspirations of, getting that title within the community. There are tools within the Discord there to help you along your way. If there's people always asking for help, whether it's like you said, verbal or text help, or jumping in a raid with somebody and assisting them as well. And also there is always useful information in the Sherpa Hub Discord, whether it's changes to the game, with patches, item changes, quest changes, certain quest progression this wipe has changed, whether it's kappa requirements, some of the end game stuff, or like this wipe we saw that BP being changed from Punisher quest line to Grenadier. Little changes like that, wipe to wipe. The Sherpa Hub is a great resource to touch base and make sure that you're up to date on the most recent information in Tarkov. So brief outline there of what a Sherpa is and the Sherpa Hub Discord. So moving swiftly on then, Phil, the importance of skills within Tarkov, and this is one of the reasons why I want to touch on this topic here. Why skills are important in Tarkov. essential part of Tarkov, obviously, is the FPS based. You know, your actions within the game mechanically with your mouse and keyboard, being able to move around the map and whether it's fighting scavs, completing quests, surviving raids. A lot of people focus on these aspects, but the RPG aspect of the game centers around the skills itself. You know, we go into raids, we spend our rubles gearing up with armor, making sure we have the best ammo we can. And it's almost like a gamble if you think about it this way. You're going into those raids and you're risking that gear. If you die, obviously you're losing that gear, but you're always going to gain in terms of the skills. And that's why I feel like skills is a very, I wouldn't say overlooked part of Tarkov, but it's definitely, I'd say underrated. A lot of people do focus on the rubles. They focus on the amount of gear you have in your stash, but you're always going to be gaining in terms of skills. The different types of skills then, Phil, if you don't mind just running through then the different types of skills that exist within Tarkov.
Yeah, I mean, from the get-go, and you know what the people most commonly realize is you've got those physical elements, you've got the mental, combat, and also your practical as well.
Yeah, so they're the four main types of skills, and how we level them. Obviously, these are mainly based upon your actions within raid. So it's how you move around the raid, whether it's firing your gun, eating and drinking. There's various ways in which you can level those skills, and we are going to be taking, you know, a deeper look into specific skills on how they're leveled. But some of them, you know, again to touch back on that earlier point, we're talking about, you know, risking your gear. You know, if you die, you lose that gear, but you're always going to be gaining in skills, whether it's endurance that the amount of distance that you've covered across a map, or, you know, the amount of weight that you've carried in the gear is going to be leveling your strength, etc. Or you fired your gun, you've leveled your recoil control. That can't be lost. And a lot of new players, you know, will approach me either in live chat or in you know, privately in Discord and be like, I've just hit rock bottom in terms of my ruble count. I'm thinking of resetting my account and starting again. And that's the last thing I always recommend someone to do who started out in a wipe and they've had a rough start, because the time invested that you've given in terms of leveling your strength, endurance, and other skills, you can't get that back. You know, that's time invested. You can always just go loot some toolboxes and get some rubles, but that time invested that you've got in terms of your skills, it's really important that you keep that time invested and you learn from that experience, I feel. So that's a quick run through then of the importance of skills. Anything else there on the importance of skill there in terms of the outline there, Phil?
Absolutely not. Clear, cut and dry, well explained as always, Mr. Ryan, but no, to the point.
Yeah, so the last point, in terms of skills, one concept that a lot of people would have heard the word diminishing returns. We're going to have a quick look in terms of this term that's used within leveling your skills, and outline what this term actually means. So Phil, if you don't mind just running through then diminishing returns, what this actually means, and what these symbols here on the screen there, the down arrow, for those of you in chat, if you're able to observe, next to the level 25 strength, just on the right hand side, you've got the red down arrow, and on the image below, you've got the blue up arrow in terms of diminishing returns there.
So basically, in a nutshell, when you've got the plus arrow up, they are at the maximum, what we say, progression speed. Okay, so at the beginning of the raid, you'll look at your skills and they're all got pretty much the blue arrow up, you know, and these skills, they then progress. And when I say progress, you gain points at a rate of 129%. And they're, like I say, from the blue arrow. And this is the what we'll say the first threshold as part of leveling a skill. So first threshold, point 1, is you've got the 129% buff. That's the arrow up. That is you can make the most points extremely quickly, and it's always at the very, very beginning of raid. The second part of that is the just a standard 100% progression speed. So this is just you've lost that little bit of a boost at 29%. You just had a flat rate of 100% now, and that's normally when that that arrows then disappeared. So again, upon reaching that, the skill will level at its usual rate, but that's just that's donated by the lack of one of the arrows, and this is constant until you then see the next arrow, and then that is then a red down arrow. So we'll go on to this one being the third iteration. This is now your 50% progression speed, okay? And once this threshold's reached, you'll start leveling your skill at a 50% penalty in leveling speed. After that, you reach the next threshold, and it's lessened by 25% after 3 minutes of not leveling a skill. And after that, if you haven't leveled a skill for another 60 minutes, the skill progression speed will actually go back to normal, as if the leveling of the skill past the stage hasn't happened for a similar period. But effectively, the main important things to remember here is that the first element of a skill is extremely quick to gain points for.
The most efficient way.
Efficient way, correctly, yeah. That you get that extra. Think of the plus. I mean, this is just my own, connotation of it all. But think of that plus arrow as a little boost, temporary boost.
That's it.
Got a quick boost to get you some skill points. After that boost's gone, just normal flat leveling, and then again, once you hit that arrow, you start talking about that diminishing returns, and you have your minus arrow and your 50% slow. Sorry, 50% penalty on gaining those skill points.
It's one of those things that once you're made aware of it, you'll start checking it more and more. You'll go into a raid and you'll be like, oh, have I leveled this skill this raid? Let me go do such and such action to hit those diminishing returns. And it's about being efficient in your raids, because again, not to repeat myself again, but a lot of people do focus on gear and rubles gained, but the skills in the background, you can be leveling certain skills while being passive even in a raid. You can, whether it's touching bodies and searching containers, to level your search. We'll go into deeper detail on specific skills, but once you're aware of this diminishing returns mechanic, and sometimes you'll be trying to go out your way to level a skill and you'll hit that diminishing returns, and not that it's not worth your time, you'll still be leveling it, but you'll be leveling it at a lot slower rate. So once you're aware of this mechanic, it's something to take note. Some people just completely ignore it, but that's fine. But if you want it to be the most efficient, and try and level your character as much as possible throughout a wipe cycle, making a note of when you hit diminishing returns for specific skills. And like I said, all this information is available on Tarkov Wiki, a great resource, or pretty much an encyclopedia. It's always something I always refer to, whether it's quest progression or even these skills, learning the elite perks. All the information on the Tarkov Wiki, it's worth noting as well. So, speaking of taking a deep dive then into skills, one of the first skills that we wanted to talk about was a practical skill. It's one of the ones that, I don't know if by show of hands in chat, if everybody goes into your character screen and checks your skills page and checks most leveled, more than likely your most leveled skill will be endurance. And it's probably one of the most prevalent skills within Tarkov that will affect your movement within Tarkov itself. So your actual character's movement. And this is obviously taken from the Tarkov Wiki again, to reiterate, a great resource for information regarding skills and quests, keys, all sorts, ammo, ballistic information. There's all sorts of information on the wiki here. But just to take a deeper dive then onto endurance, being one of the physical skills. So endurance actually influences the amount of stamina, the rate of exhaustion while running and jumping, while holding and restoring your breath. So not necessarily the speed at which you move, but the amount of stamina your character has. The effect of having more endurance, you have increased stamina, you have less stamina drain while jumping. So if you are whether it's jumping over obstacles or trying to jump during a rotation, the amount that your stamina bar goes down will be less the more your endurance is leveled. You can increase your holding breath time, so whether it's holding an angle or for long range sniping, you can hold your breath and keep your reticle still for longer when your endurance is leveled, and it decreases the breath recovery time. So if you do get out of breath, that bar will start refilling a lot faster if you have your endurance leveled. The elite perk, so once you hit level 51 with any skill, that's called the elite perk. You'll change from going from 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. Once you hit 51, you'll hit elite. So with elite endurance, you'll actually have 75% more stamina. So off spawn, you can move across the map more efficiently, whether it's to a hotspot, whether it's to a loot spot, whether it's to quest location of your necessary desire. Off spawn, you can have 75% more stamina, and that kind of changes how you play when you have these elite perks. And it's important to be aware of these things. Probably not so much early wipe, but when we go into mid wipe, later wipe, you'll start seeing more and more players with these elite perks. And sometimes as well, it's one thing to note, even in-game clothing, Phil. If you see somebody who's got, say, a level 55 piece of clothing, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that guy's got elite strength and endurance. He might be able to do such and such rotation, or he can, move himself around the map in a specific way. So having these certain, bits of knowledge in the back of your mind does help as well. One thing to note as well, with endurance, level 1 is required if you're wanting to upgrade your hideout to heating level 2. You're going to need level 1 endurance. If you're wanting to upgrade your security level to 2, you're going to need level 2 endurance as well. So just to note there as well, that is required for your hideout upgrades. And how this is actually raised, quite simply, it's sprinting while underweight. And how do you know if you're underweight in Tarkov? You'll have your full weight of your character in the bottom left of your overall gear screen. If that's in the white, then you're underweight. Once it hits yellow and red, that's considered as overweight. You're now leveling strength rather than your endurance. And also walking does level the endurance skill. So for me, one of the more important skills, obviously there's so many skills within Tarkov, but these ones, like I said, probably by show of hands in chat, you'll level, if you sort by highest leveled, more than likely this is your highest level. It would be strength, actually, not endurance, all the way around. But yeah.
Yeah, probably most of the strength, but there's nothing stopping people from boxing a little bit clever with this skill, this wipe. It's definitely one of the justice wipe, one of the tougher ones to level a little bit, just because of the recent changes. But you get towards the extract, you find a safe space. There's actually nothing stopping you. Just quickly, just dropping that bag, dropping that armor, getting yourself under the underweight status, and just have a little sprint around. Just go for a little jog, get the old PMC heart rate up, get that shift key pressed with the W, and just do some laps around just do some laps of the field, get the skill points maxed out there, go back, pick up the armor, pick up the bag, and carry on going.
That's it. Instead of gear shaming somebody who's naked mosey, maybe he's just leveling endurance. You never know. But the other physical skill then, Phil, if you don't mind running into strength skill then.
Yeah, strength skill. So I feel like this is the one where people are leveling up quite I
got them mixed up before. Strength and endurance. Strength is definitely the one that you're going to be leveling, because if you're wearing any sort of armor at the minute, you're going to be overweight and you're leveling your strength. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So strength itself allows you to jump higher. It actually allows you to sprint faster, hit harder with your melee weapons, definitely throw further, and obviously more importantly to carry more weight, get more loot in that bag of yours, carry some heavier gear, some better weapons and things. But the effect of this particular physical skill, aiming drains less stamina the higher you level it. You can increase your jump height, meaning some of the jump spots that you can get into for that sneaky, tactful positioning becomes more available to yourself. You can increase that carry weight Unfortunately, it doesn't increase the weight of which you can carry your teammates in game, just the loot within your bags. You can increase the melee strike power. So if you're feeling a bit risky and a bit dangerous, get out that melee weapon and go and bop killer in the back of the head. You can indeed, if you get that crit chance, one strike him. Increases your sprint speed and increases the throw distance of those grenades that you want to throw. So I just touched there before about that crit chance, and that is actually one of our elite perks. It's a chance to deal critical melee damage. And this is just, I'm not sure on the exact percentages and the exact the amount of damage it does gain over a standard hit, but you can, and I've seen it happen, you can one-hit killer in the head with a melee weapon. I think it's the M2 sword, Iron, is that correct?
M2 sword. M2, I think that is locked by default, but it is quest lock barter. We've even seen players, we formerly had Zero to Hero who got the full killer tracksuit with the melee sword. So, yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah, equip weapons. Once you get the elite level again, equip weapons do not add up to the weight of your character. So it's just one of those additional perks. It just allows you again just to carry that a little bit extra and gets you going into raid with a nicer kit on without having to worry about the excess baggage. But in terms of the effects there, you can see, increases the jump height, different percentages per level, up to 20% jump height at elite level. That's huge, dude. That's absolutely huge. And the carry weight there, 91 kilograms with 30% at elite level. Crazy. Yeah. Melee strike power. Actually, there's the percentage I was talking about. I don't know what the power was. Actually, didn't read the
50%.
Didn't even read read the page. It tells me there right in front of me. Increasing the movement speed and the sprint speed, that 20% difference. That's huge. You can definitely tell when you're higher up the levels in endurance and strength and you're playing with some newer players and you just leave them for dust. It's like Usain Bolt going up against me, So there's definitely a clear running distance. As for the throwing distance, definitely the same. You can throw those grenades, those flashbangs, those F1 grenades, etc. Or if you want to throw the old Pokeball insta death bombs at people, you can do that as well. And aiming drains less stamina as well. I feel like this is particularly helpful for people who really enjoy to get themselves in a sniper position and actually want to play the patience game and actually see someone in the distance, but it's a little bit too far out. You want to keep the aim on them, wait for them to get a little bit closer before you take that shot. And these types of things this type of skill does allow you to just aim that little bit extra longer to get the more effective shot instead of wasting it all and missing out from there.
Yeah, and as you said, skills definitely one of those. Strength is definitely one of those skills. Early wipe, where if you I use clothing as an indicator. Do you know what? It's probably the best thing if you want to go in disguise as a high level player is to stick the default clothes on, because I see whether it's the black pants or the puffer jacket or one of these different skins, and I'm thinking straight away this is a player with elite skills or higher strength and endurance, and that affects how they approach a fight in terms of the rotations, and especially as well early wipe. One thing in terms of the jump height with strength, there are certain angles, whether it's on top of certain trailers on customs, or whether it's certain rotations, there'll be certain spots that you can jump up onto if you've got higher strength than other players. There'll be certain spots, if you happen to get sniped up there or you die to, whether it's a player or a scav, more than likely your gear's safe up there because nobody else is going to be able to jump up there with their lower level strength. So a big benefit of having higher level strength. So thanks for that, Phil. The other skill that we did want to touch on as well was Metabolism. Again, another one that's fairly commonly leveled fairly easily. Quite simply, healthy metabolism improves and extends the effect of eating and drinking, sustains physical skills longer. So the effect of, when you're sprinting round or, spending a long time in raid, you'll find yourself dehydrating or losing energy. The more you level your metabolism, the slower that rate of dehydration happens. So your your bar will go from 100 to 0 a lot slower the more you level your metabolism. The effect of this skill then, reduction of time of all negative effects of stimulants, food and water. So if you're popping a stim and you're getting tunnel vision, things like that, it actually reduces over time the more you level your metabolism. It reduces poisons action over time. So that would refer then to the poison of a cultist knife. Enhances food and drink positive effects. So the positive effects from, say, max energy, the immunity, that whether you use it from the stim, scav kills, Jaeger quest and things like that, they will have a benefit from it. The elite perk then, once you hit that level 51 on metabolism, you won't actually receive any damage if you hit zero energy or 0 water. So the actual damage that you take, that no longer happens on max metabolism. And how this skill is actually leveled is purely by eating and drinking in raid. So that's one thing I always recommended as well to new players. If you come across any food and water in raid, you might as well just right click, use all on it. Even if if your character's not hungry or thirsty, you'll be leveling that metabolism. And it's one of those success by volume kind of skills. You can only do it if you do it a bunch. So going into raids and just making a habit of eating and drinking every raid, you'll get this leveled up fairly efficiently. And as I said, very, very useful skill within Tarkov. So you don't have to worry about being 0 water or energy. It's just one of those things. It's one of the most frustrating things, isn't it, Phil? If you're in raid and you're trying to get out, imagine interchange, you're in the middle of the mall and you're trying to walk out to railway and you've got 0 energy, your stamina bar's not regenning. It's so frustrating. So having this leveled up
so many times to me, honestly. this web so far, you're like, right, it's time to get out now. I've got enough loot, and then it just you get that tunnel vision. Oh, I'm like, oh, we go 10 minutes later as you've crawled your way to the extract.
Yeah, you might find a random can of sprats in a stash on the way out just to keep you going, and even that doesn't last long. So metabolism, one to look out for. Keep drinking those bottles of water in raid and eating them sprats. So the other skill that we wanted to touch on here as well would be search.
Searching itself, another one of our practical skills itself. And clues in the title here, it's called searching. I think what you do is you search for things, honestly.
I'm struggling to search for the actual search skill on this screen here.
It's a practical skill and it's called searching. Can you search for the search skill?
I can. I found it. I found search. Everybody, no need to panic.
He's just leveled up. He leveled up his search.
Am I elite? Yeah.
We got there. So, as the name suggests, this is all to do with your searching. Okay, so the more that you search for things, the more that you level it up. It's pretty much as simple as we go with regards to that one. So, skill mastery allows you to search bodies and containers faster and more efficiently. So, you effectively can search bodies quicker. You can search containers themselves quicker, etc. Bags. The elite level, when you eventually get there, is so good. It allows for 2 containers or 2 pockets, a bag and a pocket, etc. To be searched at the same time, a rig and a bag. Yeah, exactly right. To be searched at the same time, but not only that, it's actually twice as fast. It's so good. If you're in a hot situation, you've just dropped a player, that player is juiced, but you know that there's a couple of players that are right close, and you're like, oh, this player's too good. I just want to get this gear and I want to dip. I don't want to get involved. You can get on that body, you can search really quickly, get all the stuff back, and then you can just dip out and get yourself in a more secure location.
One thing with this elite perk as well is super helpful when you're killing bosses, because they might have key cards in their bags or in their pockets, and quickly searching it, getting that secured into your container, it's super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely that. The one thing I always say about when I'm in raid, you pay F for respects, and what I mean by that is if you're running around and you're not necessarily going for the loot, you're going just for a quest item or just kill a few people, kill some scavs and things like that. You're not gonna necessarily go searching. You see some dead bodies on the ground, go press F on their bodies. You'd be surprised at how much experience you can get for just pressing F on a body. 100, 150, 250, 300 experience. And that goes as well directly into your search as well, search experience as well. So
Yeah.
it's vital to do. So remember, press F for respects when it comes to a dead body. The other thing is, you're inside, you see some filing cabinets. As filing cabinets might not necessarily give a lot of skill points, but if you're not doing anything else, these just little points, they all add up in the interim. And these are crucial for for filing cabinets. They're not crucial for filing cabinets. They're crucial for getting your
Search
your
up.
level, your search level
Yeah.
up. Yes, you do need to get to level 9 for the quest of scavenger.
That's right.
So if you're stuck at a certain level and you really want to like boost yourself to that quest, for example, remember F on bodies, filing cabinets, loot containers, making sure that you search everything as well. But these are all things that are going to help get you towards elite skill, and the elite skills, like I said, are pretty good.
Yeah, they're definitely worthwhile. And like I said, going back to my earlier point, I'm going to keep referring to this point of like, although the loot in a filing cabinet might not be that great, you're gaining in skill points. So it's worth, if you've got extra time in raid, it's been a quiet raid, or you don't have a quest in that raid, whether it's filing cabinets, toolboxes, underground stashes, even scavs that you found dead that you haven't killed, it's worth searching those rigs, searching those bags, and gaining some points. And looking out again for those diminishing return arrows. If you're able to hit diminishing returns on search, definitely probably possible in a map like Labs. If you're running around searching all those computers, containers, and you hit a bunch of raiders as well, then you're definitely going to be possibly hitting those diminishing returns maximum level on those as well. Moving swiftly on then. Stress resistance was another one we want to look at as well. It's an interesting skill, this one as well, because it's one of those that you can't really, you can go out your way and level it if you've got a teammate. It's an excuse for me to shoot you in the leg, I think, so that you can level your stress resistance.
You do that anyways.
But again, so stress resistance improves the chance of withstanding injury, shock, shaking hands, and tremors. So it's one of those skills that you'll gain passively over time just by playing the game. You won't necessarily, like I said, we won't necessarily go out your way to try and level this by taking damage, but it's one of those that it's worth taking note of your stress resistance skill, as level 6 is required for the Flint quest. And the effects of having this skill leveled decrease the chance of getting pain shock, decreases tremor isolation. The elite level perk is actually a berserk mode. We don't see it that much anymore, but it used to be very, very common of hitting that berserk mode and your screen all going red and getting that quick boost in speed as well. How to raise this as well then. So if you're low in health, you'll actually gain 0.033 points per second when you're low health. I believe low health is considered less than half. In your health bar, when it's maximum, it's green. When it's low, or when it's low, it will either be red or yellow.
Right.
So
Right.
it's worth looking out for that as well. Like I said, it's probably not one of those that you're going to go out your way to level, but it's important to be aware of it. While you have the pain debuff, so if you've taken damage and you have pain and you've not popped a painkiller, you'll actually gain a third of a point right off the rip just for taking pain within a raid. So important things to note about the stress resistance skill. There's actually some free points available within the quest lines itself. So if you complete Psycho Sniper, you'll gain 1 level of stress resistance. Completing Survival Path Cold-Blooded, one of the Jaeger quests, gives you a point on this skill as well. And also Wounded Beast, another Jaeger quest as well, will give you 1 point on the old stress resistance. Like I said, not one of those that you're going to go out your way to level, but it's certainly one to be aware of as well while you're out on your raids as well. One that we did want to touch on as well in terms of the skills itself would have been, let's have a look. We were looking at sorry, go ahead.
Hideout Management, wasn't it?
Hideout Management, that's right. Yeah, if you don't mind taking that away then in terms of Hideout Management then.
Yeah, so Hideout Management that got introduced to the game, was it two wipes ago?
Yeah, when we got our hideouts was with 12.12, wasn't it? Oh, well,
Yeah.
it got introduced after some more recent. Yeah, 2 wipes ago, it got introduced after we had the hideout. That's right.
Yeah. So, as it says there, efficient hideout management allows you to use less fuel less fuel and filters in production, and also increases the bonuses from different hideout zones. So the main aspects of this, it'll decrease the fuel, air, and water filters consumption rate. It'll also increase all percentage bonuses from the hideout zone. There's certain aspects of this at an elite stage which don't make 100% sense at the moment, but with the bigger picture of Tarkov, as you know, growing ever so much every single wipe and every single month, eventually everything will make sense and fall into place. The elite levels at the moment give you those 2 extra slots for the fuel canisters. I think that takes you up to, is it 86 hours? I think.
Yeah, or if you, I think without max hideout, you can put in, is it 6 cans of fuel?
Yeah, this will take up to 8, and
yeah.
Is it maybe chat can do the maths on that one? I haven't got
We
my
can
blue
get someone
Peter
to stat
prize.
check
I'm not.
it in chat.
Yeah, we go get one of the slaves. Maybe Walker to go stat check that one for us. We got 2 extra water filter slots as well, 2 extra slots for the air filters, and also 2 to the storage limit of coins in the Bitcoin farm. For me, probably one of the best ones. You know, basically
Not having to
being
pick up
able
your
to.
bitcoins every time.
Yeah, you can definitely just wait a little bit. Wait a little bit longer. You don't have to log back in to select it. You don't have to claim your 3 bitcoins. You can claim the 5 instead as well. It also, I really like it about the water filter aspect is the fact that when you got the water filter in, and it's like it's got like 10 minutes left.
It's got just a pixel
and
left.
Then you're like, it's just a
tiny,
tiny little bit,
yeah.
And you can just forget about it. You don't have to wait for that 10 minutes to expire. You just take a seat back,
go
play some raids,
Set
and then
forget, they call it, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll go just roll over onto the next one. Roll on to the next one. In terms of raising hideout management skills, it's 0.4 points per craft, 0.4 points for every 10 resources of spent fuel or filters, air filters, fuel filters, etc. Or it's 0.16 points per 10 resources spent on fuel with solar panel constructed as well. And then upgrade each module gives 8 points per module as well. So when you get to, if you imagine each upgrade will give you 8, so you get obviously most things are level 3 now. That's 24 points for every max module within the hideout as well.
Yeah, one point that I do want to touch on here that you pointed out to me here, I wouldn't say it's misleading, but it makes you feel that you're leveling it faster with solar power constructed, because when you look at 0.16 compared to 0.4, you think you're going to be leveling it faster as well. But the fact that solar panel, it uses less fuel per hour, if you think of it that way, you'll actually be leveling at a different rate. Obviously there's a boost in having all the stations crafted as well. So again, one for everybody to do the maths and do the science and figure out the more efficient ways of leveling these and getting those elite perks and making the most of it as well. So the next skill that we wanting to look at was sniper skill, actually, and this is one as well. It's very prevalent as well in terms of the quest progression within Tarkov. Everybody trying to hit that level 9 sniper required for Kappa. A lot of people talking about how to level this efficiently. There's lots of different methods in terms of how you go about leveling sniper skill, but essentially sniper rifle handling improves the overall handling, reduces the recoil and reload time of snipers. That's essentially what this skill does. Reduces weapon recoil, improves weapon ergonomics, increases the reload speed, increases the switching speed. So even if you're out of ammo on the Mosin and you'd want to switch to that pistol, not only do you get that even without a malfunction, I know we have that quick switch to a sidearm. The more you have this leveled, the quicker you can switch to your pistol. I believe that's something that Call of Duty's taught us as well. It's quicker to switch to your pistol than reload, so that gives you a boost in that. The elite perks of this as well, if you do ever manage to get to level 51 on the sniper and the elite perks. Steady aim for the first 3 seconds with any stamina condition. So even if your stamina bar is completely spent, you still can hold your scope steady there as well.
Yeah.
And doubles the mastery gain. Weapon mastery is a whole separate mechanic in terms of the skills within Tarkov. It'll be on your skill screen, you'll see the mastery, but doubles the mastery on the rifle on the elite perk there. One thing to note with this as well, like we mentioned, Psycho Sniper level 9 is what everybody's aiming for, but level 3 is required for Tarkov Shooter, level 7 is required for Wet Job Part 6. And how this is actually raised, reloading sniper rifles, so not only the chamber-fed ones like the Mosin, but magazines like the DVL or SV98, you can still level while reloading. Slightly lower rate compared to chamber-fed ones, and actually hits on target as well, whether it's players, scavs, those will level this skill as well. So sometimes it's important to be aware if you're wanting to level this skill, rather than going for the headshots on the scavs, maybe just leg them a couple of times and then get the kill, just so that you do level this skill more efficiently. As well, you are given, like we said, you're given 1 skill point in this for completing Shooting Born Heaven, if you're able to complete your 125 meter headshots on all maps. Mentor, which is handing over a bunch of money to Peacekeeper, he gives you 3 levels for that. And also now, new to this wipe, completing Tarkov Shooter Part 8, the end of the Jaeger quest line, where it requires you to get your 3 PMCs on Woods in 1 raid. That will give you now a point in that skill as well. So again, one to note, a lot of people looking how to level this skill for Kappa requirements, or even for those Wet Job and Tarkov Shooter requirements. Again, if at any point you miss any of the information that we've run through here, the link will be in chat for the Tarkov wiki. Feel free to refer back to the resource as well for this as well. The next skill that we're going to be touching on then, Phil.
Wanted to.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Briefly go through the recall skill itself. The reason why I wanted to go through the recall skills, I feel like it's not one that's widely talked about, honestly, and it's one that you can level quite easily, to be fair, if you put some thought behind
Once
it.
you know
and
what the requirements are, because even it came as a surprise to me how easy this is to level. I won't say easy, but it's quite commonly leveled if you go out your way to do it, really.
Yeah. Recall control is exactly that. It just gives you a greater recall on the horizontal spread, making recall much better, much more predictable. But funnily enough, you only have to fire about 30 rounds during a raid before reaching the diminishing returns. And if you were to box clever on that one, you can just pick up a scav. You can pick up a scav weapon in just as you get to the extract, just your mag dump. Sometimes you pick up a weapon from Kibber, from a weapon box. They normally got like 15, 20 bullets in it sometimes. Just letting that go at an extract, or else you're just picking it up, walking around, etc. Easy points to have to leveling up this recoil skill and leveling up from there. But the one thing I like about it, as you progressively increasing your control and you progressively level it up, you do actually get a reduction in the percentage of recall that is in effect. So currently I think I'm about level 6, level 7 at the moment for my recall control. That gives me a 2% reduction in overall recall. If you do manage to get yourself to the elite skill, which is definitely achievable, gives you a minus 15% on your horizontal recall.
That's a lot when you think about it, and that works 2 ways. Sorry to cut you off there, but like that works 2 ways. When you think about a 15% boost in recoil, so not only would a meta build gun shoot more straight, but you can now run guns at a budget, and you'll have almost like a meta build with that 15% boost. If you think about it that way,
100%. And it's about, again, it's the horizontal spread of those bullets coming in closer, coming in a lot neater. So just think of those guns, right, which are already really close on the spread. Imagine like a laser beam, an MP5, for example, getting max recoil control with an MP5, dude, that thing is a straight line.
Yeah, it's just you can just take your mouse and lift it off your mouse mat and just hold down mouse 1 at that point, really, for sure. And again, the fact that you touched on there, 30 rounds per raid isn't a lot. If you get into a gunfight, more than likely you're going to be fighting those. You're going to be firing those 30 rounds.
Oh, 100%.
But even if whether it's a dead scav or an AK that you found in Kibba or a random gun box, on your way out, just mag dump it. You know, if you, again, looking out for those diminishing returns, those little up and down arrows, if you haven't hit that for that raid, you know, and it's been a quiet raid, just mag dump in the extract before you leave. So maybe that's the reason sometimes you do hear random gunshots off in the distance and you try and chase them down. You're thinking, who just fired? It's Phil in a bush just leveling his recoil control. Don't even worry about it.
It's when you start, you load into the raid and you just hear someone mag dumping in the corner. You just like, there's someone leveling the recoil control.
Do you know what it used to be? At the start of every interchange or shoreline raid, you'd hear 10 grenades. And you know, oh, someone's just leveling their strength. That's all that is. Don't even worry about it.
You just hear flashbang, 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 flashbang up. Someone's leveling the strength up. No, good stuff, good stuff.
So,
I think we had one more skill to cover, and that was going to be our covert movement, Iron.
So sneaking on into our final skill that we wanted to touch on here. Again, one of these that is going to be leveled passively, but will affect not only how you play, but how you react to other players as well. So covert movement makes your steps quiet and reduces the sound radius. Sound is probably one of the more important aspects of Tarkov, and being able to hear players and knowing where they can hear you from, whether you're walking on metal, walking on wood, walking on grass, having that reduction in sound radius. And again, it's one of those skills that's going to be leveled. It's success by volume again. The more raids you do, you're going to be passively leveling this without even trying. But the effects of this then increases the covert movement. So when you're fully caps locked, or you scroll wheel down to the minimum movement speed, your speed that you move at when you're at that minimum will actually be faster, but having the sound of a regular, you know, slow movement. Sound of steps on common services is 60% quiet at elite. Decreased covert movement sound radius is 150%, which is a lot. If you think about, you know, being able to hear somebody, whether it's 50 meters away, you then, you know, you can hear them at 150% less. Well, your own steps will be heard less as well. Noise production by weapons and equipment are quieter. So if you've ever, you know, been holding an angle, or you hear somebody else and you hear them ADS, that actual sound of the ADSing would be reduced as well. So not only the steps, but the sound your equipment makes, whether you're heavy and you're turning, all those sounds as well become reduced as well the more this gets leveled. And the elite perk for this as well, covert movement becomes quiet on all surfaces. Very broad statement, basically means all your steps on all surfaces, whether it's metal, wood, grass, whatever, all of it becomes a lot quieter. And how this is leveled is when you're moving, when your movement bar, this slider here, which can be changed with the scroll wheel, when this is below 25%, that's when you'll see your covert movement leveled. So again, if you want quieter steps, or you want your equipment to make less sound, again, looking out for those diminishing returns, up and down arrows. If you haven't hit your diminishing returns for this raid, you've been, you know, W keying everywhere. Why not just like move slow in the extract before you leave, just to level it a little bit. One of those things to look out for. But yeah, we've touched on a broad range of skills there, Phil.
Yep. And it's been a healthy range. I feel healthy range. We've covered the stronger aspects of the skills and the more mainstream aspect of the skills, but also branching off and discussing these extra skills that people don't necessarily give too much thought to.
Yeah.
And I hope that you guys have learned some extra knowledge there from some of the reasons and the logistics behind actually leveling some of the skills. And I know there was a lot of head turns, especially at the the diminishing returns aspect of it as well.
Yeah,
So
it's one of
was
those, I wouldn't say
new one.
unknown parts of the mechanic, but the more you dive into it, the more you learn. It's all knowledge at the end of the day, and for where, I wouldn't say some players lack in terms of mechanical skill, you can always make up for this. The RPG aspect of Tarkov, these skills passively are there to assist you. Where where my aim lets me down, I'll let my recoil control take over. So yeah, if at any point, like I said, if at any point you want to take a deeper dive into these topics, subjects, these skills, Tarkov Wiki, great resource. Head on over into the Sherpa Hub Discord. Maybe even ask other content creators and streamers or YouTubers which of these skills they feel is important to them. But yeah, skills in Tarkov, I really do rate the importance of these, probably higher than your ruble count. Your skills is definitely more important. So I think we've touched on all the topics we want to touch on there, Phil.
100%.
Any closing words for chat before we wrap up there?
No, not too much. Just enjoy the wipe. Remember to stay healthy and to stay positive when it comes to your engagement with the community and with each other within the community themselves. There's always hot topics out there. There is always things being discussed, and just remember that this isn't the final product. Many things to come, many exciting changes
There's so many
to come.
unused skills within there as well.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how negotiation skills come into play later
I know,
on down
right?
the line. I have no idea how that's going to come in.
Dude, like you've even got the USEC skills, the bear skills, the was it heavy machinery and things like this?
Yeah, RPG skills.
RPGs, bro. Lock picking when it comes in. There's so many fantastic things to come with regards to skills in Tarkov. So I'm excited to see all them.
And where can people catch you if you're going to be live on Twitch playing the old Tarkov?
The old Tarkov or the new Tarkov?
Either Tarkov.
They can catch me at twitch.tv because it's just streaming /Philbo. Like I say, just part time at the moment with my full time job. And if I'm not streaming over there, I'm going to be singing streaming over in the Twitch channel, which is the twitch.tv /the Hunt org with some future competitive tournaments as well.
Excellent stuff. And I'll be live Monday to Friday, 6 till midnight. Feel free to catch me, Ironfist_TV. I'm actually going to be hopping on now as well. Just hit Max Traders, very excited. So I'm going to be playing some Tarkov this evening. Feel free to join me over there. You're more than welcome to join in. We'll see what dailies and weeklies we've got. We see what skills we can level this evening as well. But thanks for joining me, Phil. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your insight into skills. Thank you all, chat, for joining us. That concludes the Sherpa Hub presentation on skills. We'll catch you in the next one. Be sure to follow this channel as well. There's going to be lots of informative and presentations regarding different aspects of Tarkov from the various Sherpas and people across the community. So look out for that. Again, hop into the Sherpa Hub Discord. Awesome bunch of people in there. And have a good evening. See ya.
See you guys.